What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to this channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got why the Philadelphia Eagles are a team nobody wants to play. Let's check this out, bro.
You look at the Philadelphia
Hey, but this shit is just not fair, man. Like,
incredibly potent with the addition
after adding Saquon, like they were already dangerous before Saquon. You know what I'm saying? But now adding this nigga to this offense, bro, like this shit is just not fair. It's just not fair. But they just all gotta stay on the same page. Cause at the start of that game against the Packers, bro, they did not look good at all.
I would not shove aside the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. So
They got the potential to be more dominant, bro, which is scary.
Dotson will help the receiving core, and I believe in the quarterback. So I think Stevie hit it right on the head. I think Hurts is gonna have a big.
That defense definitely got to step up though, cause that defense looks sweet as fuck going against the Packers. Like Packers were just dotting them up.
Last week in Sao Paulo, Brazil, Nick Sirianni and his team put out a statement to the rest of the league. The Philadelphia Eagles are back. Now look, last season the Eagles completely fell off a cliff, losing 5 of their last 6 regular season games before crashing out of the playoffs in the wild card round in a brutal loss in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Many had serious questions about this Eagles team and whether or not this horrendous run of form would carry into 2024. But last week, they looked much more like the team that made the Super Bowl just 2 seasons ago, defeating one of the NFC's most hyped teams in the Green Bay Packers. This was a huge relief for Nick Sirianni, who was under immense pressure after the team's collapse last season.
Talking with people who have a close eye on the coaching carousel, some people already have Philadelphia circled as an opening for next season if the Eagles don't have a very successful season. So no question about it, the pressure is on.
In less than 2 months, the team went from
because bro, like just like the Niners, but they have the same exact story as the Niners. They build these super teams and just do nothing with them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like both of those teams have incredibly stacked rosters. If I'm being honest, bro, I think it comes down to coaching for real, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way you can have this many good players, this many stacked teams, and just still not win a Super Bowl out of all those years, bro. Like it's just doesn't make sense, bro.
Legit contenders to honestly one of the worst teams in the league.
Now Hurts hasn't really played the best. You know what I'm saying? He just threw 2 picks against the Packers. But like I think he's got to step up for sure. And I think after he steps up, you know what I'm saying, I think everything's gonna start to fall into place for them.
Many feared the worst for the franchise and wondered if this team would fall behind the Cowboys early in the NFC East race. And with the Packers ending the season in red-hot form and only losing narrowly in San Francisco in the playoffs, this looked like a nightmare Week 1 matchup, especially factoring in the extra travel to Brazil. As we all know, though, both teams battled through poor field conditions.
Bro, yes,
delivered a gritty performance.
This field was horrible.
Besides the early part of the game, it looked pretty damn flawless in the second half. Early turnovers on their first 2 drives did put them on the back foot, but they bounced back for a statement win, proving that they are still one of the NFC's top teams, sending a clear message to the rest of the league. Hurts did throw those 2 picks in the game, and it wasn't exactly a stellar performance from him.
Like they weren't just like your ordinary picks. Those were ugly ass interceptions. Like this one right here to Devontae Smith, he just completely forced that shit in there because Smith was not open. This shit was locked unless he would have threw it to the outside, bro. You know what I'm saying? Over his outside shoulder. But he threw this shit inside where it could have got intercepted. And then the one in the end zone, like he was trying to throw it to AJ Brown. I don't know what the fuck he saw on that one.
AJ Brown.
Now this was a dot.
24-19 lead right at the beginning of the second half. Some of the criticism faced by Hurts last season was his mentality or his leadership, but he showed great character in this one to shake off his early struggles and put up 278 yards on the day with 33 more rushing on the ground. And look, I mean, it is easy to get carried away in Week 1, but this truly does look like the old Eagles. I mean, especially with the offense, particularly just looking so much better. Without a doubt, the big story of the night was the superb debut of the new addition of Saquon Barkley was a 2-time Pro Bowler in New York and carried the hopes of the city on his shoulders. Literally. But he struggled with injuries at times, and the Giants often struggled to even get the best out of him. On Friday night, though, in Brazil, Barkley looked as good as ever.
Bro balled out
with 132 scrimmage yards and, most importantly, 3 total touchdowns, a figure he's only ever achieved once in his 74 games as a Giant. Wow. And look, I mean, honestly,
damn, 74 games.
The dude looks free. Like, he is so happy to not be playing with that dysfunctional Giants.
I thought it was less than that. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Did splash out big money on Barkley, with him earning an average of 12.6 $6 million a year, making him the league's 4th highest paid running back. And look, I mean, if he can keep putting in performances like this, then it's going to be money well spent for the Eagles. And I mean, even for as good as DeAndre Swift was for this team last year, it really does look like Saquon can be a major upgrade for this team. Friday also saw a big game for AJ Brown, the Eagles' top receiver and one of the very best in pro football. Last year, Brown began the league at an incredible pace, including an exceptional streak of 6 straight games with at least 120 receiving yards as the Eagles blew most teams away through the air. However, he, like many others on this team, weren't their best down the stretch, averaging less than 50 yards a game in the last 4 weeks. And as we'll discuss in a minute, this Eagles offense is truly stacked this year, but AJ Brown remains the main man from that wide receiver room. And if they want to be legit threats this year to contend, then he has to be special. In this one, Brown may have only had 5 catches, but he racked up 119 yards, including that 67-yard touchdown.
Yeah, bro, Jair was getting cooked, bro.
Straight up, Brown is one of those
that shit was insane
in the league.
Like, I think AJ Brown low-key got faster in the offseason because, like, bro, I feel like the old AJ Brown would have got caught on that.
On the field,
so maybe he got his cardio up or some shit.
Have to change their entire
bro looked extremely faster.
And now, of course, Brown being at his best is good news for the rest of this offense, including Devonta Smith, who enters this season having signed a $75 million 3-year extension in April. Smith, a former Heisman winner, is a guy who could be a #1 receiver in a lot of cities, but has chosen to stay in Philly as one of the league's best second options in the past.
Because he wants to win a ring.
Back 1,000-yard seasons now, and you wouldn't bet against him doing the same in 2024. He looked good in this one with 84 yards on 7 catches as a constant threat within the Green Bay secondary. And I mean, even beyond Brown, Saquon, and Devonta Smith, there are still plenty of other weapons inside of this offense that other teams still have to account
Dallas
for.
Goedert.
Dallas Goedert is one of the league's better receiving tight ends.
Facts. People just continue to forget about him for some reason.
And if Barkley ends up taking too much of the load in the running game, Kenneth Gainwell is absolutely a capable running back too on any offense, having held that role behind Swift in the 20s.
And they drafted Will Shipley too, the rookie out of Clemson, so don't sleep on him.
The last person I do want to mention that they did just bring in from their ex-divisional rival is
Jahan Dotson.
He was barely involved in the season opener, but I would keep an eye on him in the next.
I think because he was still learning the playbook.
A new system, and his new team works out how to best utilize him. Having said all of this, though, the offense in 2023 wasn't really the problem. It was on the defensive side of the ball that needed a lot of help. I mean, they were ranked as the league's 3rd worst scoring unit, behind only Washington and Arizona, who beat them in the final week of the season last year. Unsurprisingly, defensive coordinator Sean Desai was shown the door after 1 season in the post, after presiding over a pretty shocking drop-off from 8th to 30th in scoring defense in the span of just 12 months. Desai's replacement is Vic Fangio, who had a rough time as a head coach in Denver from 2019 to 2021. However, Fangio is a highly regarded defensive coordinator and now holds that position at a 7th different team, having first been an NFL defensive coordinator for the Panthers back in 1995. And obviously, for Fangio to rebuild this defense, it was a pretty tall task that he did have to do, but I mean, he's managed pretty well, and especially with some of the signings we're going to go over, and even with how they did perform in Friday's game, has helped with some of the defensive woes of the Eagles. One of the more interesting signings was the return of former Eagles safety CJ Gardner-Johnson after he'd just been an injury-plagued 2023 season in Detroit. Gardner-Johnson is one of the league's most brash, outspoken trash talkers.
Bro, this nigga Jaden Reed put him on skates, bro.
As well as a successful season.
But this nigga's a troll. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Indeed, one group who bore the brunt of his big mouth was Philly fans themselves, who he went off on in a live stream last summer, describing them as obnoxious.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised he went back to Philly, bro. This nigga was talking mad shit about Philly fans and then ends up back and on the Eagles, like, bro.
He just couldn't stand them. However, a 3-year, $27 million contract was clearly enough to tempt him back after issuing an apology to Eagle fans along the way.
Wow.
As I said, though, Gardner did struggle in his debut, including one play in particular which saw him sent the wrong way by Packers wideout Jaden Reed, resulting in a 70-yard touchdown. But he wasn't the only new Eagle to struggle in week 1. In the offseason, the biggest signing they made was on ex-New York Jets defensive end Bryce Huff, who cost $51 million over 3 years. Huff had been impactful in his time in New York and has been brought in effectively to replace Hassan Reddick, who was an all-pro on the Eagles with a 16-sack season in 2022. Huff did have a tough night in Brazil, struggling to even generate really any pressure on the quarterback, but it seems that Fangio and Sirianni
the field was really fucking him up for real.
In particular has described Huff as a work in progress and seems confident that he and Gardner-Johnson will be key players once they adapt to the scheme in Philly. One of the real stars of Friday night, though, was honestly one of the ones that hadn't been hyped up at all in Zach Bond that they did sign.
Oh yeah, he had two sacks and he had the game-sealing sack as well.
He recorded recorded 15 tackles, tied for the most in the entire league across week 1, as well as having a career first multi-sack game. Honestly, for $4 million a year, that's not bad at all, and he'll definitely have caught the eye of many Eagles fans keen for more out of their new linebacker. Another impressive performer in week 1 was 2023 first round pick Jalen Carter.
Damn.
Would be primed to be even
that
better.
bull rush was
Carter
nasty.
Had an excellent rookie campaign last year, and his 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 33 total tackles were enough to land him a spot on the all-rookie team, despite being on one of the league's poorest defenses. Carter's an exceptional athlete, capable of being a thorn in the side of any offensive line and quarterback. Carter recorded 2 pressures in this one, and of course recorded a QB hit near the end of the game, which ultimately knocked Jordan Love out of the game on the Packers' final drive. Finally though, Eagles fans have to be ecstatic for how Quinyon Mitchell performed in this game. Philly drafted him 22nd overall in this year's draft, and he immediately set about showing why during this matchup with the Packers. Mitchell recorded 2 passes defended in this matchup, including saving an
he was talking that shit too after that first play.
Watson on the Packers.
He was on timing.
Mitchell was joined in this class by Cooper DeJean, another cornerback out of Iowa, as Fangio and company set about fixing a truly terrible secondary.
Nice play. Even though that ball was inside, that was still a great play
for Philly this year and beyond. And well, honestly, truly their only challenger in this division does seem to be the Dallas Cowboys again, and nobody else from this division. And like, I mean, in fairness to the Cowboys,
just like always,
really good against the Browns, especially that defense for the Cowboys. I mean, they were flying around and they looked very impressive in Cleveland. But really, this Eagles team should be right up there with Dallas, competing for a top seed in the NFC and even in the NFC East to win the division. The next 3 games are all NFC South matchups.
Oh yeah, bro, they're about to clean these niggas up, because Atlanta, bro, from that last game, bro, Atlanta looked absolutely horrific, bro, especially Kirk Cousins, you know what I'm saying? So they better come to play. I feel like they just gonna run right through New Orleans. But last season, this team ended their season, bro, you know what I'm saying, the wild card round. So this is not gonna be an easy game at all, bro. Like, this is definitely gonna be a dogfight. Baker Mayfield looked good in week 1, you know what I'm saying? So hey, Tampa and Eagles gonna be a great game for sure.
And Bucks, 3 games that Philadelphia will be favored in, and I think should fully win. Like, they should be 4-0 after that stint. There are a couple of tougher games later on in the year though, including road games against Cincinnati and Baltimore, as well as those 2 huge games against Dallas, the second of which comes in week 17. I do fully expect that game to be pretty much near a division title decider in that game, and just kind of see who will win the division in that game. I mean, especially considering that one of these teams have come away with the title in 7 of the last 8 seasons too. It just seems right for that game to just mean so much in week 17. Regardless though of who does win that game and does end up winning the division, is still going to be a solid team, and honestly a very scary team to play in the wild card round. As for the rest of the NFC playoff bracket, the obvious team to beat remains the San Francisco 49ers, who are still all in at this point, managing to retain near enough all of their star power that got them within a few points of a Lombardi trophy last February. Beyond them though, and truly honestly, I think the team that is going to win the NFC this year is the Detroit Lions, with just how good they looked in that Sunday night.
Yeah, mine was the Packers before Jordan Love got injured, but now it's got to be the Lions, bro. Like, damn, I'm so upset that Jordan Love got hurt, but
It was honestly just a well-deserved win for that team. Having paid Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Penny Sewell, this Lions team is primed to repeat their 12-win showing last year, if not even do it better than this year. Under Dan Campbell, the Lions have become a popular second team for many as they attempt to finally shed the lovable losers tag that has plagued them for over the last 6 decades. I mean, on Sunday night against LA, they looked as good as last year against another outside contender. But of course, the Eagles also looked good against a playoff team from last year, and one who annihilated the Cowboys in last year's wildcard round. Make no mistake, this Eagles team has put out a statement in week 1 and has a chance to rack up a few more wins with a fairly easy run to start the season. Obviously, there is a lot of football to be played, but from what we saw in week 1, the Eagles looked to have arrested that slide that they were stuck in last November and December and are moving back to the team that we saw in 2022. And I'm not trying to say things are perfect in the city of brotherly love, but most importantly, that defense does appear to be on the way back to a respectability under a new defensive coordinator. And I mean, with a young core on both offense and defense, expect the Eagles to get better on both sides of the ball as the season progresses. Any offense with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and of course Saquon Barkley simply has to be considered a legit threat to win absolutely any game this season. But I want to know what you guys think. How good are the Eagles going to be this season, especially after we saw the performance of what they did last Friday in Brazil? Honestly, for me, it was a little bit lackluster, but I still do think that once this team does get rolling, they are going to be very scary. And if they can stay hot and not collapse like they did last year, I fully expect expect this team to either be the 1 or the 2 seed if they can keep things going. Legitimately though, if we're really talking, I think they're going to be a 3 or 4 seed. I truly do think the Lions are going to win the NFC this year and hopefully get to the Super Bowl, and it would just be crazy if that happens, but that's for a different video that we're going to be doing soon. As always though, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It lets me know to keep doing more of these, especially if you guys want to see more. Make sure that you join my Discord so that way you guys can be in there when we are doing watch parties and everything this year. 4 things on Sunday, Thursday, and even Monday. Who knows what day we're going to watch football. We're just going to be in there chilling. But as always, if you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
Hey man, what do you guys think, bro? Know what I'm saying? I think the Eagles, like, bro, like I'm saying right now, bro, it all comes down to QB play for real. Cause Hurts, he is a good quarterback, but he can make some boneheaded mistakes at times, like the 2 picks that he did throw. But if he, you know what I'm saying, plays nearly flawless for them, bro, the Eagles are gonna be unstoppable, bro. You know what I'm saying? They have too much talent to not be Super Bowl contenders and to not win a Super Bowl this year, bro. You know what I'm saying? They got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon, Dallas Goedert, great offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then that defense, they have a lot of talent up there, but then they looked lackluster last week as well. So they got some things to clean up. But you know what I'm saying? After they really, you know what I'm saying, get their chemistry going and shit, I feel like the Eagles are going to be definitely the team to beat in the NFC for sure. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what other NFL videos y'all want me to react to down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoy. Without further ado, I'm out. Gang!